Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 6th, and Friday saw a continuation back up to the peaks. We saw a nice little resurgence here of the long-term buyers jumping into it and just crossing over, and that took place right before. You can see the turn up right here. We had the mid-term buyers in green fading a little bit, but we had support of both long and the short-term buyers, and it was enough to start the propelling. And as soon as that happened, we also saw an immediate move of the orange below red, which really started to spark things and put market on good pace to start to break out to new highs. So something we were waiting for a little bit. We also had the inflows, like we talk about on the 5th of the month is usually about when it happens. In this case, it was right before the weekend, so it was the 4th, and they're pre-buying that potential of new money coming in, and we'll see if they're able to sustain it with more flow. We're definitely getting the right direction here. Short-term buyers obviously are going to fade a little bit into that because it was a nice return. And you see the NASDAQ right in line with where the S&P is. So we have a nice proportionality to it. Euro right holding on to the edge of things. They're going to have some issues. We're seeing more rumblings both from Italy as well as France with the resurgence of the populist movements there. This poses some big challenges for the euro going forward because many of these are nationalist movements that want to withdraw from the euro, which certainly is going to create some headwinds for it. I know some were complaining that the euro is unreasonably depressed, and obviously in the U.S. they want a slightly inflamed euro as opposed to the dollar to improve economic growth. But you can see that right here. It's unlikely that even if the Fed wants to maintain lower rates, there's going to be pressure to the upside as people try to draw money, and that is going to force rates to rise, which is going to send TLT eventually to our target down there at 113. It may take some time. Oil is going to sit in the flat zone continuation for quite some period, and that is still going to put upside pressure on gold because it's just a matter of time before that starts to have a significant impact, particularly as currency wars likely to heat up under that pressure. And I think we have to be cognizant of that. I know there's a lot of talk of these collapses in metals and stuff. Some of this is just ridiculous, mindless discussion of things. Here we had the softness after the nice rally, and we began to see breakdown a little bit. Price held up pretty much through it. We ended up finally getting the dip a little bit later right here, and we're seeing a resurgence of that having become oversold. Kind of in a no spark zone, so I would expect maybe we're going to get a little fill back going back and forth in here, but even if we retrace from the pre-market levels, we're likely to come back and visit those again at the top side. It's always good to put up the 50K every once in a while. We could see that the entry was back over here on the Opus 2, the 68 range, pretty much gone back and forth sideways, but nice pop, and certainly there was a secondary buy that took place right here. It was a little more elevated than it would have been an opportunity from the A blue with the negative 16, and yet your dip below the orange, all of those things. So there's multiple opportunities to have jumped into it. Of course, you get the wider gyrations, but you have to expect that when you're playing a bigger time frame. 50,000 is 10 times the 5,000 chart, so makes a difference. And from our general daily standpoint, I think that it's going to be critical to see that shakeout continue to rise, and it's got to break past this previous peak point here to really have a move that is going to not just be back and forth like we've been seeing, but a true breakout of where the range is. So those are the things to be keeping one's focus on. All in all, the market is following pretty much the prescript. You're just going to have to start to see. I think they're starting to finalize that, any kind of tax reform, things like that, not going to happen until the last quarter of the year. Same with any change in Obamacare. I know there's some of them are talking about it for the spring. If it happens for the spring session and they see the rumblings of that, we're going to notice it ahead of time, and we'll see that clear breakout because the expectation is there'll be consensus, and the people in the know, particularly if Munchin and some of these Goldman individuals are in place, their friends are certainly going to know that things are going with the wink and the nod, so to speak, and we're going to see that manifest itself in money flowing into the market. So those are the areas that you want to be watching as we see it, because when the news finally does break, that's the time to sell, not the other way around. So there you have it, long and the short of it. In this particular case, it's more long than short, but we're okay with that. As always, though, trade well. Look for me on the Skype chat. We'll keep putting up the charts as the relevance of them is necessary. Trade well.